Hi, welcome. This is a video tutorial on the interviewer queue in ODESA. I would like to apologize ahead of time if the video and the audio is not synced appropriately at times. We are having some broadband issues, so your patience is greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and move forward and get started. When you click on the link the NCI link to ODESA, you should land on this page initially. And there are two options. Please click on the first option, the NCI California 2718 Adult In-Person Survey. When you click on that option, you will get to a login page. Please enter your username and your password. I've done so ahead of time, and hit login. You should get a page that looks like this. So let's go over what's on top over here on your menu options. There is a button for logout. There is also a button or a link to a PDF copy of the survey which you can download and print as you need. There is a help button as well, and let me show you what that will do. If you click on the help, you'll get a pop-up that provides you additional information on the screen you are viewing. So the surveys with notes bucket, we call these buckets. There's one new note, and I'll go over that a little bit later. The uncompleted survey buckets, that means there's two surveys in there that are surveys that have been assigned to you and have not yet been sent to the QAC for approval. The overdue surveys are surveys that are uncompleted and were assigned 30 days or more ago. The completed surveys are surveys that you've completed and you have marked for completion, and the QAC reviewed it and has approved it. Surveys pending completion bucket are surveys that you did complete and you've submitted to the QAC, but they haven't approved it yet. The surveys pending removal bucket are surveys that you are unable to complete for whatever reason, and you're asking the QAC to remove it from your queue. And the all surveys with notes buckets is just that, all surveys that have any notes attached to it. So let me close this out. And also, just to let you know, there is a user manual. Gives a little bit more detail regarding the interviewer queue. If you click on that, it's a PDF, and it is an older version. It is 2011-2012, but the information about the functions are still the same for most of this current ODESA system as it was for the one in 2011-2012. So this still will be helpful to you. So let's go ahead and close that out, and let's go ahead and talk about uncompleted surveys. So again, these are surveys that have been assigned to you that have yet been completed. So let's go ahead and click on the number 2, because that says you have 2 surveys. And as you can see, there are 2 surveys, Joe Smith and Darla Fine. And just to let you know, there is a quick look. If you click on the name of the individual, you'll get a summary view. So if you're ready to schedule the appointment and you need the phone number of the person, you don't have to go into the survey itself. You can get a summary of the consumer's information that includes the phone number and the address. This also has the function or the feature to get to a map, which is, I hope, to be helpful to you. And there you go. So you'll get to your Google map if you click on that map button. I'll close up there. And let's see here. You still have the profile up. And there's a directions, which is the same as the Google map. It just has a directions pane showing up. So let me close up on that. Let's say you're ready to go ahead and enter the data in the survey. Go ahead and click on the box to the left of the individual's name to select that individual, and then up here hit enter survey data. Then you hit edit survey, and you'll get to the beginning of the survey. You can navigate through the survey by clicking on various buttons at the top or at the bottom. So you can click on next, go to the next page, go to the next page, or you can click on previous. And again, these navigation buttons are at the top as well as down here at the bottom of the page. So hitting previous and next can move you to one page at a time. There is a help button here, but unfortunately that really doesn't get you anywhere. It is an error message, and we don't believe that's going to be active in the near future. There is a shortcut navigation with a drop down here right in the middle. And what you can do is click on the drop down and select what section you want to go to. And then if you want to go to a specific question, 29, such as question 29, just select question 29 to 32, and that'll get you to the page where that's located. So these drop downs are a quick way of getting to specific questions if that's what you need. So let's say you've completed everything and you're not quite ready to submit it to the QAC for approval yet. You can go ahead and save it without marking this for completion. You can do so by hitting the Save button to the right here on the upper right. Click Save, and over here in green you'll see a confirmation that the survey was saved successfully. You can then close out if you wish. I'm not closing out right now because I want to show you another function. So here at the very right at the top corner is a Mark Completion button. If you're ready for the survey to be approved by your QAC, you're done, you don't need it to do anything more to it, go ahead and hit Mark Completion. When you do that, you'll see a verification or a confirmation. Over here, again in green, the survey was marked for completion. You can go ahead and close, and then exit the survey completely. And as you can see, that survey is no longer in your uncompleted surveys bucket. So let's go on home and see where it is. It looks like it's in the surveys pending completion. So let's click on that and let's see. And it is. So Joe Smith is now in pending completion for the QAC to review. You can undo some actions that you do on ODESA. So if for some reason you need to get back that survey because you can't access it, you think, oh, I forgot to put a date in there or something, or need to change anything, go ahead and unmark completion and hit OK, and it's back in your bucket. Okay, when it's back in your bucket, then can you go back and enter or edit the survey data. Another way to mark it for completion is also within this grid. So let's say you forgot to mark it for completion while you were in the edit survey mode. You can still mark it for completion by hitting Mark Completion just above the grid. Hit OK, and it's there, surveys pending completion. And again, you don't have access to the survey itself when it's pending completion. So let's do this now. Let's say you are unable to complete the survey and you want to mark it for removal. So you're going to want to go ahead and click onto the left box of the person's name to select it and hit Mark for Removal. And you will get this window. You need to select the appropriate reason for the removal: deceased, refuse, other, and then you can enter the details of why. Form needs verification. Let's say this one needs verification. I want to also send a note to the QAC. Why? And that is, let's just say phone sounds, can I spell, like a fax. Okay, so then you would then hit Mark for removal. And if you can see here, there are actually no more surveys in your uncompleted surveys. One is pending for removal and one is surveys pending completion. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and again, you can always undo, and I want to undo this. I say, okay, well, you know what? I want to unmark it for removal and put it back in my bucket and in my uncompleted surveys bucket, and there it is, uncompleted surveys. So let's go ahead and talk about notes for a minute. Up here you see surveys with notes. These are notes that your QAC sends you associated with particular surveys. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So there's a note associated with Darla. So you want to go ahead and select the box next to Darla's name, and let's go view notes. And here's the new note. So you never know what kind of note is going to be hit, but hopefully it'll be information that's very helpful to you. You can also view all notes for this survey, and see, here are all notes for the survey. So here, let's just go view notes. You can then mark it as read, just fine, and then it disappears. However, it still is in all notes for this survey. So let's go back and see it's not. You can also add a note. You can add a note here, or let's go back here. I want to show you another way. Here's your uncompleted surveys. You can also add a note here in your uncompleted surveys view. Go ahead and select the individual, hit view notes, and again, those are all your notes. And then you can go ahead and add a note. And you can go ahead and send a note to your QAC. Need a new, I don't know, and you can hit save. You can also leave yourself a note. If you see the type, here's public and here's private. Let's say you may want to be using this just for yourself to track all your attempts to schedule. So 10:31 left message to call. If you hit private, only you can see it. If you switch to public, your QAC can see it as well. So that's up to you. And go ahead and click. And let's go back to home. And I think that might be it. Let me double check. Yes, so make sure I get you all the information. Also on this message board, we don't really use this very often, but if we do, you'll see a message here that says one new message. And let's see what view message. There are none. So yeah, we don't really use that very often. But I think that's it. And thank you for viewing this. If you have any questions regarding ODESA, please contact your QAC, or you're welcome to email directly us at qaproject@scdd.ca.gov. All right, thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.